Hello there guys, it's Glurmit here, and today we're going to be going a bit into detail about what I'm planning on doing with the account on a wider scale. I know we've already outlined the account, but we haven't really spoken to you about what we're actually doing. And this was suggested to me by a viewer who goes by the name of Mike, so big shout out to them for kind of suggesting to me to really break down and develop this a little bit more. Right, so if we take up, I've broken it down into different stages. So the first stage is really the early game. This is what I'm doing pre-level 85. So we want to take the Phoenix to gear 7, just to unlock Palpatine, just to unlock Thrawn. We'll mod them, we'll take them to gear 7, leave them. That's kind of the goal there. These three are going to go to gear 12. They are all relatively easy gears, relatively accessible as well. So they are on my list for taking to gear 12. Lando's on my list for going to gear 8. I mean, he works in the Scoundrel team, but he isn't a game changer. He can do crazy damage, but that isn't why I'm using him. So he's only going to go to gear 8. And then these two are on my list of relics. And this is relics outside of Starkiller himself and the Starkiller requirements. So these are my two that I've identified that really need those relic levels. I mean, you can't not have a relic Vader. So this is what I'm doing early on, prepping for as soon as I hit level 85. Now we may not get the relics done straight away, but they are the first two relics outside of requirements that I'm going to be doing. On to stage 2. And here, this is characters which I've identified that I need to farm to improve the teams that I'm farming in the guide. So we're farming Starkiller, which is why I want Rage and training. She can work in the unaligned force user role, and yeah, Visas Mark can work, but I'll explain to you why I'm going to go Jedi Training Rey instead. Mon Mothma, we're going to take her up, we're going to Zeta her, and we're going to make a very basic Rebel Fighter team. There's no reason not to because of Kyle Katarn. Traya, Nihilus, and Sion. I'm going to take these guys up because I think I'm going to use Talon in this team. This may change, guys, but I'm debating between Darth Revan or Traya. But if I do Revan, I need to farm Malik, and I don't know if I want to do that very early. So I think we're going to go Traya, Nihilus, Sion, and we're going to build up this team here. Now, this is stage 2 and 3 are like, just, I've hit level 85, I've finished Starkiller, I'm now starting to fill out teams. So here's another team which I'm planning on filling out, and that's Iden. And I've put the whole team here because we're going to be taking this team. Iden we're going to be farming anyway for the ship. She's on the same node as the one of the Separatist ships, which has lost my mind right now. How annoying. But anyways, she's on my farming list. And these guys here, they're going to be going to gear 11, gear 12. They're easily accessible, apart from Death Trooper, which is why this isn't in stage 1 or stage 2, because Death Trooper you need for a good Iden team, but he's also Cantina, like end of Cantina, and we're farming Dash, we're farming Kyle Katarn, we're farming all these other characters, so unfortunately Death Trooper he slows us down. So we may well have Iden and all of this, but we're not going to fully invest until we've got Starkiller and that's all out of the way. But this is another team we're going to be adding to it. And then down here we have a list of Zetas. Now there are so many Zetas, guys. I haven't even listed Vader on here. I'm going to be doing it, but I'm just not sure if this is going to be my first Zeta. This is the key Zetas that I've identified. Palp lead, you need it. Especially if we're doing Starkiller, especially if we're doing Mara Jade, we need Palp lead. So that's number 1. Starkiller has 2 and we want both of them, so they're very crucial. Vandal Chewie. His Zeta is what makes the team work. It's the revive one, so we need that. And then we are going to be going for Geos at some point, so GBA's there because his Zeta is so helpful for the WAP mission and just general play. So he's on there as well. I'll add Vader right now. Vader should be on here. I just don't know if I'm going to do him before the others. Once he's relic, yeah, sure, but I don't know. I don't know there, guys. I'm tempted. I'm tempted to even boost it up to here. But I want to make sure that I have Palp, both of Starkillers, and Vandal Chewies. They are my key Zetas which I've identified. Next up we have Omicrons. Now there are 4 Omicrons which I've identified that I need for my account. And they are Dash, and that's probably the first Omicron I'm going to apply. Dash is such a good Omicron, and for my farming plan, it works a charm. So Dash is number 1. Starkiller is number 2. We're just going to be doing his unique. We're not going to be doing all of them. It's just the conflict in you. That's the only one we're going to be applying. So that's number 2. Omicron 3 will be Iden. Like I said, that's just dependent on when we get her team up and running, but we will be doing Iden's Omicron. She can beat teams like Gas. I mean, there's no reason not to invest in her. She's crazy, crazy good. And then the final Omicron is actually going to be Leia. But we're not going to do that until she's close to 7 stars. So this is talking 5, 6, 7 months from now. Probably not even that, probably closer to 5 months. But then we'll do Leia's Omicron because we're going to use her for GOTB. Alright, next up we have the actual squads I'm farming. So I've showed you the key characters I've identified. Now let me kind of talk about the actual teams which we're farming. So first up, the Scoundrel team. We're going to go 1 with L3 if we use on defense, and we're going to go Young Lando if we use on offense. So this is team 1. And they're all going to be going like Relic 5, Gear 12, Relic, Gear 12, Gear 8. That's kind of the aim, because we want to kind of balance it out. We do need higher gears to make these teams good, but we also don't want to overinvest early on. Next up, I was thinking Starkiller. We need to mix things up. If we use the same Starkiller lineup every single time, 1, it gets boring, and 2, people might find us out and work it out. So, because we're farming JTR, I'm actually going to work on Crew and Sith Trooper. And then we're going to do the Crew, Sith Trooper, Starkiller lineup. This is for 3v3. And next up, we have got the standard lineup, which I'm going to be going for. I was thinking doing Jahani. That depends on if I do Darth Revan and Malik. If I do, Jahani goes before Old Ben. If I don't, I'll just be using Old Ben here. But Palpatine, Mara Jade, Starkiller, Jedi Training Rey. I'll explain why this is important in a minute, guys. And then Old Ben. Next up, we have the Iden team. I've got Range Trooper here. That's going to be the initial plan. The long-term plan is Death Trooper. Like I showed you, he's on my list for Stage 3. Next up, we have the Kylo Ren team. I don't want to overinvest in this, but I think it's worth doing. So we'll take Kylo to like a decent gear level. We'll take Sith Trooper to a decent gear level. The others can just sit around lower gears, lower stars. But we do want that team just for defense and just for other play. Next up, we have Mothma. Now we've got Lando in here. We may or may not use him long term. We are going to put both the Rebel Soldier and Rebel Scout in there just because they're accessible, and Rebel Soldiers needed for GOTB, for Lightside Hoth, sorry. So that's why they're going in there. Kal-Katan's going to boost this anyway. So this is a low investment Mothma team, which will work. It won't work eventually, but early game it will work. Next up, we have the team which we're going to be working on. This is longer term for like Stage 3, if we remember. Is it Stage 3? Or it was Omicron? My bad, so Omicrons. So let's like call it Stage 3.5, and that's what we're going to be working on here. Is going to be that Rolo team for territory battles. But I'm going to be honest, guys, I'm not expecting to do Lightside Geo for at least a year, so we have at least a year to plan that team out. But with her Omicron and this team invested in, I think we'll be looking good there. And then the final team, which is teams I'm investing in, is Geos. Now, Geos are one of the earlier teams I'm going to invest in. I'm probably going to have Soldier, Spy, Pole, and Sunfect done very early. We'll just be waiting on GBA. So I expect probably more or less when we unlock Starkiller, we'll also be having Geos done. And that's just for GOTV, and they're also a decent team, defense and offense. Now, I was hiding this one from you guys. We have Stage 4. You guys have been asking time and time again, what comes after the Starkiller farm? And these are the 2 proposals I have. I wish I could add in another one, say Executor, but I haven't decided yet, that's the thing. I haven't decided, but I'm stuck between Rey, JML, or Executor. Now, here are the reasons for all of them. If I do Rey, it gives me, because what I need going forward is I need something to stamp down my defense, and I think Rey is that. Rey is a good defensive team, so that's option number 1. We're also farming JTR, so that fits in, and it also gives us the Resistance fleet, which may not be the best fleet in the world, but it can do work. So that is option 1. Also, it's a lot quicker than this one. Option number 2, JML. This is potentially going to be done. It will give us a rebel fleet, it will give us CLS. It's a very good farm, but it's a much longer farm. So that's something which I'll decide when we get there. But it's definitely a possibility. And the final one will be Executor. And I think that is probably what I'll do, I'm going to be honest. I think we'll probably do Executor into a GL. And that's kind of where the crystals from GAC will come into play. But really, it's Ray, JML, Executor. They are the 3 options that I've identified that are best for basically for my account long term. So yeah, there you have it, guys. That's the plan. That's what we're going to be working on long term. This may change, guys. This may change. You just never know. Going down the line, maybe we decide to do something different. But this is what I've identified at the moment for doing. I'd like to thank you all for watching. My name is Glermit. If you've enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It means a lot, guys. It really does. And also, why don't you come check out a live stream? I do enough of them. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.